Welcome to Gabby, the Marriage and Family podcast, where it will be okay. We are your hosts, marriage counselors Terrell and Tanisha Pugh. We are a family of 9 who, after the death of our daughter, learned that life was going to be okay. And now, we help other families in distress realize the same. Are you ready to heal and learn that your marriage and family will be okay? Well, let's get started. Hello, this is Terrell Pugh, and thank you so much for listening to the Gabby podcast. How would you like to do what you love, working with couples as a marriage coach or with individuals and families as a Christian counselor? Well, we can help you over at tntpugh.com. That's tntpew.com. Hey, we'd love to help you get started today, again, working as a marriage coach or a Christian counselor. Head over to tntpew.com. Thank you.
Welcome to another episode of the Gabby podcast with myself, Tanisha Pugh,
And Terrell Pugh.
he didn't give you his full name this time, y'all.
Not this time, not this time. Maybe next time. Maybe next time, yes.
Yes. You know, I'm so glad you've tuned in. I'm sorry we missed you last week, but we had some things going on.
Yeah, we were on Family Feud.
Yes,
We were on Family
yes.
Feud. And so for all of those that are wondering, when is it going to air? It's going to air sometime in November, but we will post it.
Yes, we will. We'll post it.
Yes.
And we'll talk about how we did at that time.
Yes.
All we are at liberty to disclose is that we had a lot of fun.
Is that right? Everything else is top secret. It's like working with the CIA.
Oh, boy.
Although I've never worked with the CIA, I just assume,
Yes.
you know. Yeah.
Yes. I will say, man, it was really awesome meeting Steve Harvey. Yeah.
Yes.
This man, he works.
Yeah, he does work hard for a 66-year-old man. I think he's 66. But yeah, he does work hard. He was on his feet for
Practically
at least
the entire time.
Yeah, at least 4 hours
At
of
least.
a duration.
At least.
And that was twice during the day.
Working.
Yeah.
And you could tell he enjoys what he does.
I mean,
right?
if I was a comedian, I
you
would
were good at
enjoy
it.
Yeah. And I was good at it, right?
Right. The man is hilarious. He had me in stitches.
Yes.
Oh my
yes.
goodness.
Laughter is good medicine.
Indeed,
Laughter is good medicine.
indeed. And that's a message or a philosophy he certainly lives by. And, you know, as mental health
Advocates, professionals.
Yes, we certainly support that.
That's right. That's right. Well, let's get right into our topic. Excuse me. I have to take some enunciation speech classes for this.
No, you're perfectly fine.
But yes, to
Dr.
get
Pugh.
into our podcast for today, the topic is going to be travel. We're going to talk about travel the next couple of weeks.
My favorite topic.
Right. Then we'll take a break and we'll probably get back to this as well.
Yes.
But you know, just travel, things around travel. And I want to sort of start with our experiences with traveling, right? And so this is just a very light podcast, topic today.
Correct.
Nothing too heavy.
Exactly.
If you've checked out prior podcast, topic's a little bit more, a little more serious, but today a little lighter.
Indeed. So I remember when we first embarked on travel. I remember we got married in 2002. Right?
You got it right this time. If you tuned in our last podcast, Tanisha, not Terrell.
Oh boy,
Tanisha got the date
never
wrong.
Live this down.
So for all you husbands out there, score 1 for man.
Oh my gosh! All right. You done? All right.
Yes.
So 2002.
That's right.
When we were wed, we had. I remember we bought our first car. It was this little bitty green Mitsubishi Galant. Can tell us nothing.
1988 Mitsubishi Galant.
That's right. That thing was moving. It was good. It was so good. I remember we paid $1,200 for that thing, huh?
Yeah, bought it from a guy named Mateo who lived down a block from us.
You remembered his name?
He was a Christian. He used to pass out chick tracts on the corner.
Yes, sir.
He also used to have his loudspeaker where he would minister the gospel in the corner, and that's how I met him. because, I loved what he was doing. But yeah, then he told me he was selling the car. We bought it.
And yeah, we bought it. And the car was so amazing because all over the back, we had a ton of Jesus stickers.
Yes. And that was my idea. I wanted, I remember my grandmother told me, she's like, Terrell, you sure you want to have all of those stickers on there? It makes the car look cluttered. And my grandmother, she's a stylish grandmother. And so she wants to, if she's going to be in a car, she wants to make sure it looks nice.
Oh, absolutely.
So the stickers were, would have cramped her style.
That's right. That's right. So our Mitsubishi Galant, I mean, that thing took us from New Jersey to Staten Island to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And
all over the metro area.
All over the metro area. And then I remember.
And I'll say this, when we first purchased it, I remember from him, because, it was used. This is 2002. That was a 1988 vehicle. So, I mean, it was around, do the math, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But it had a hole in the muffler that we had originally had to get fixed. So I remember prior to getting it fixed, the car would give off this loud sound, right? This loud just rumble when it rode. And I remember driving to a friend's house, and I remember he joked on me. He said, I always know when you're coming. Because I can hear that loud rumble sound.
Yes, that's right. We made noise wherever we went. But our first trip was in our Mitsubishi Galant. We traveled to Florida. Actually, did we use the Chevy?
I don't think we used the Mitsubishi for that one.
You're right.
We didn't have we had given the Mitsubishi away at that point. Correct. What happened to the Mitsubishi? I don't remember.
We had given it to family.
Yeah, the Mitsubishi. Okay,
yeah. It only had maybe a couple months left in it, but we passed it on. But it did help us start to travel.
Because we went. So let me see if we're on the same page. Where's the first place we traveled?
From Staten Island to New Jersey.
Okay, well, that's technically, right?
Yeah, technically.
But from Staten Island to New Jersey, we lived in Staten Island at the time. Where did we go in New Jersey?
Trenton, New Jersey.
Ah, see, so we remember this differently. So if we're talking about travel, our first trip in our first vehicle was to Six Flags.
I knew that. I was going to say that.
Technically, that was our first trip. As a married.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Because I was thinking we went to New Jersey, to Trenton when we moved. But what
prior to
inspired us to move was after we took the trip to Six Flags.
Right, going to Six Flags, traveling.
Yeah.
But after we got rid of the Mitsubishi, we had gotten a
Chevrolet
Malibu.
Yes.
Chevy Malibu. I think it was a 2003. So it was 1 year after we got married. So it was like a newer vehicle, I think.
Yeah, it was fairly new. And that's what we took and used to travel to Florida.
Yeah.
And at the time.
So I'll say this, right? So very early on, and I think this is an important point to make before we continue moving on talking about travel.
Yes.
We were taking local trips that we could afford. At first it was to Six Flags. That was, I mean, I was 20 years old. You was 19. A year later. When we got the other vehicle, you were 20. I was 21. I mean, that's 1 year, 365 days later.
We were going to Six Flags. Listen, adulting. Hello.
Right. Exactly. So we were traveling to places that we could afford, and what we could afford at that time was Six Flags.
Yes, sir.
And so that was big for us.
Indeed.
Because little did we know that added to our mental health, that added to our peace, that added to our relationship. We continue to have fun with each other. Couples get married and they stop having fun.
Right. As though marriage is a license to quit having fun.
Yeah, you stay in the house and not do anything. Now, look, if that's your thing, then make sure it's both of your things. Right. And one person isn't desiring to do something and go out, and you're just saying, no, we're going to stay inside now.
Exactly.
But
So, yes. So, I love that we're reflecting on this because I'm seeing how things kind of build. And so after Six Flags Great Adventure, then we moved to New Jersey. And after we moved to New Jersey is when we then took our next leap. And we took our very first vacation to Orlando, Florida. And guess where we stayed?
Well, wait.
Am I skipping
you're
something?
skipping.
What am I skipping? Huh.
Well, I mean, it's not major, but we visited other local Six Flags, right? Like we went to New England Six Flags.
Not yet.
Oh, we
Not
didn't do that
Nope,
yet?
Not yet. New England didn't happen until we had lost Gabby.
And I say New England, referring to like the Massachusetts
Right,
area.
right. Yeah, no, we didn't. We weren't that adventurous yet.
Okay, so it was still Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when we moved to New Jersey, I think we had. No, we didn't buy season passes. I don't think they had.
Yeah,
them
they didn't
yet.
have season passes then.
Yeah.
This was when they had the Coca-Cola cans.
That's right.
You bring your Coca-Cola can, you get 50% off your ticket.
That's right. I remember.
You bring your lunch
that.
with you. You eat it in the parking lot
Yes!
during halftime, right?
Or you get some chicken when you're leaving.
Right, or you
Everybody
get
knows
the
that
chicken.
KFC chicken when you're heading back from
Right.
Six Flags Great Adventure.
And
you
I
don't know
wonder-
it,
I wonder if it's still there,
you
though.
know it.
And-
I'm sure it is. I think it was
Yeah.
when we went
No,
out.
you're right. It is still there. It is
and
still
we
there.
went out with our siblings.
Yes.
We all met up at KFC.
At KFC, you're right. KFC is still there. And so for those of you who don't know, maybe if you're looking at this in whatever state you're in, it's, we just basically had the KFC right outside the Six Flags.
That's
I wonder if they
perfect.
do that because in Georgia,
That's smart business.
there's a Wendy's outside the Six Flags.
You're
and
right.
so I don't know about all the other ones, and we've been to all of the ones in the U.S. I don't remember if there are any other fast food restaurants.
Yeah, we've been to all the Six Flags in the U.S. That's so wild. But anyway,
Yeah,
so
that's jumping way ahead.
I
Way
know,
ahead, right?
Way ahead, dear. Slow down, slow down. So our very first vacation
Yes,
was to Orlando, Florida.
that's right.
Yeah.
Orlando, Florida.
Orlando, Florida. And
And this was maybe 04, 05, somewhere around there. Oh, yeah.
it was definitely after we had Zariel.
Right.
Because we had Adonijah and Zariel was a baby.
Right.
So it was definitely probably 04, like you said.
Yeah, 04, because she was still small enough to sit in a high chair.
Exactly. True. So we stayed at the
La Quinta.
La Quinta Hotel, yeah.
So silly. But yeah, we stayed at the La Quinta.
And we thought we were doing it. We were able to get free breakfast.
I remember that. It was so fun. It was so fun. It was just one room.
Just one room.
Just one room.
Yeah. We had Nookie in the one room. 2 kids. That
But
was
yes,
weird.
I know, right?
But we did it.
But we did it. And so, okay, I'm going to stop here again.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to make another point.
Yes.
Okay. Did you notice that Tanisha said we had Nookie, right? So we had sex, right, in the room with the 2 children.
They were
Now,
sleeping.
They were sleeping,
Yes.
of course. But I say that to say because sometimes the complaint is, we don't want to do anything, or I don't want to do anything. Maybe one spouse would say that because the children are around. Now, granted, they were babies, right? They were 1 and 2, so when you put them to bed, that was it, kind of a thing. But what do you think people did back in the day? When there were no houses with levels
Multiple
and bedrooms and locks and
How we've grown spoiled.
it was still done in decency, of course.
Absolutely.
But no, I wanted to highlight that because when you are away on vacation, intimacy doesn't stop.
That's right.
You know,
In
it
fact,
continues. It
That's the
should-
best kind of intimacy.
That's right. It should pick up
Yeah.
because you don't have to worry about work or being somewhere or doing
Exactly.
this or doing that. And so you should indulge in intimacy.
That's right. That's right. And so it was on that vacation where we got introduced to dun dun dun
What's that?
timeshares.
Oh, this is the age of timeshares.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still around, but
Yeah, but we didn't know that.
Yeah.
We had no clue. And so we were a great sale.
I know, right? Some young 20-year-olds.
Yes, being told you can have this percentage of this property that you can pass on as a part of your legacy to your children as an inheritance. Oh boy, we were a great sale. We ate it up.
We did, and we purchased the timeshare. I think it was through like Wyndham.
Wyndham Vacations, that's right.
Yeah, Wyndham Vacations.
Yeah,
We no longer have that. Obviously, it's been so
Yeah,
long.
Indeed.
But no, you're right. I remember we purchased our first timeshare.
And that's really where vacationing truly began for us. when we had a peek inside of what timeshares were,
And you're right, because I remember through that we had access to RCI. I know a lot of
Yeah.
you know about RCI. And so Orlando, first trip we took.
Yes.
Went to Universal Studios,
Yes.
Islands of Adventure. Ooh, I'm choking over here. Sorry.
okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. And I want to point something out.
What's
you
that?
notice how when we went to when we went to Orlando, we actually did something in that town. I'm trying to get something, y'all, from my hubs, because we're going away in May.
I don't remember. What did we do in that town? What do you mean?
We went to Universal. So
I
whenever
see what
we
you're
go
saying.
to
Yeah,
a
yeah,
town, similar to
Not all the time, though, because I'll say, so after we went to Orlando and we discovered Florida, right, we started going other places along the East Coast.
yeah.
Like we went to North Carolina,
Oh yeah, we
the
used to
Blue
do
Ridge
that a lot.
Mountains.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, and times we didn't do anything there. We just went for the accommodations.
Right. And you're right. And, we thought it was just so amazing that we could drive anywhere and stay in these beautiful, amazing properties.
Another point. We drove everywhere. We drove everywhere. And so if you can get
and
there
our
by
kids
car,
came with us.
right. If you can get there by car, we drove.
Yeah.
And so we had the car seats, 2 car seats in the back at the time when we just had 2. When we had our third child, the cars can fit three car seats, right?
Absolutely.
But no, that's what we did. That's what we did. So I'm pointing this out to encourage people who have multiple children. No matter how many children you have, you don't have to stop traveling.
That's right.
And you don't have to not travel either.
That's right. And I'm sorry, but I enjoyed the company of my kids. I like my kids. They're pretty cool. Was it challenging? Them wanting to use the bathroom every so often, or maybe someone has a blowout. You know what that means if you're a mama.
Yes. So here's a pro tip, right? If you are traveling in a car with your children and you're on a road trip, I've learned a long time ago there's a lot of things. Okay, and nowadays, I mean, we have technology, so that keeps them engaged. But here's a couple things you can do. Do not feed them salty foods.
Yes.
No chips, no candy bars, no French fries, no, fast food. That's all salty. The reason why you don't do that is because they're going to get thirsty.
Yep.
And if they get thirsty, then they're going to drink. And if they drink, then you're going to have to make more frequent stops to the bathroom.
Yes.
And so what you do is you use naturally watery food that your body can actually process and hold on to and retain a little longer. So fruits, vegetables, plus they're healthy snacks.
Indeed. I know our go-to were Twizzlers. Remember that?
Yeah.
We had Twizzlers all the time. The kids, they love Twizzlers. You and I would snack on Twizzlers. And we had carrots. Our kids used to love carrots.
That's right.
They still do. Ozera just told me the other day, carrots are so good, Mommy.
No, that's true. That's, you do things like that. That's how you get them hooked to healthy foods.
Yeah, indeed. So after...
One other thing. Sure. Everyone uses the bathroom on the pit stop. Even if you don't have to.
They don't want to.
That's right. And children will say that, I don't have to. No, you're
We're all
going to the bathroom.
That's right. Mommy, Daddy, and the children.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes. All right. I can't quite remember what our second trip was. Maybe it was to Poconos. Is that one?
Maybe the Poconos. And for those of you who don't know, Poconos, that's in Pennsylvania. I don't remember. So I don't remember the order in which, like first, second, third, that type of thing.
Might have been Blue Ridge, because I remember. You remember when we saw that spooky bicycle?
Yeah.
On the road.
I don't remember. Yeah. So either Poconos or Blue Ridge.
Yeah, one of the two.
Right.
And I say Blue Ridge because I remember Zuriel was walking, and then Isaac was our baby. Remember that?
Yeah.
And we were at that river, that rocky river area. It was you, me. It was 3 of them at that point.
Right.
So Then we were 5.
Right. And so time jump, right?
Mm-hmm.
5 children.
Mm-hmm.
We still traveled. We still did things.
Yeah, Orlando trip got us in trouble.
So, with 5 children,
Yes.
what year would that have been?
5. So Isaac was born in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
So the next year, ooh, wow, we definitely got pregnant.
Or no, maybe once we moved to Georgia.
No.
Because we didn't move to Georgia with 5 children.
We did.
We only moved to Georgia.
No, not 5 children. We moved to Georgia when we were 5.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes,
Total. I'm thinking
yes,
5 children.
Not 5 children.
Right.
No.
Okay.
When we were
Yeah.
5, a family of 5.
Mm-hmm.
So that's right. That order is correct. 2005, Isaac was born. He was the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Zoe was a little bit bigger. She was walking. You were holding her hand walking through the river.
Yes.
So that was Blue Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, it was the Poconos. Creepy place we had stayed in. That resort was so creepy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the trip where I remember we had refinanced our house, and we took out $10,000.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
That was huge.
That was huge.
We're rich. We're in the money. Oh my goodness. We were so young.
I know, right? If only if we could do that again.
I know.
Yeah.
We'll do so many things differently. But I have no regrets.
No.
I remember I went out and I bought everyone a bicycle.
I remember that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then we took our trip to the Poconos, and Terrell, you took us out to dinner, and I ordered my first
Filet mignon.
filet mignon. Yes, sir. Didn't know what the heck it was.
I didn't know what that was either. I'm going to tell you, in my mind, I pictured a filet mignon as this huge, juicy steak.
Yes.
Right?
When it came, that sucker came out. It was probably this big piece of steak with some bacon wrapped around it. I looked at that thing. I said, "For how much?"
Right.
Then I ordered another dish. It was a shrimp dish. Remember that?
I remember.
And we were living it up. We were dressed up, and
Yeah.
you were, the babies were with us, and then the check came.
Yes. Now, I'll say this. Keep it in mind. We cashed out. Well, not cashed out. Well, yeah, refinanced and cashed out. So we had money in the bank, right? We're in the Poconos, and we were in a really nice place. We're in our early 20s. Also, we were the only black family in this restaurant in the Poconos where we were.
Yes, we were.
And so we get the check.
First of many situations like that, eh?
Right. We get the check.
Yeah.
It's and I'm saying we were the only black family for a reason, right?
Mom,
So you'll get
Stay
this
with
once,
us.
right? Once we tell it, we get the check, no problem, right? Again, we got money in the bank.
Yes.
Right? Not have money, we got money.
We got money.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yes, baby. Yep, right here. What? We got money.
Right. And so we thought at that time, right? Yeah. But in any way,
my goodness.
so we get the check. I give them the debit card, the bank card at the time, and we continue just talking. The guy comes back and he says that the card is declining. Now, we know that there's money there.
Go try it again, bro.
But he tries it again and it declines again.
That was so humiliating.
It was humiliating. It was embarrassing.
Yes.
We're sitting there and we're thinking to ourselves, we're the only people of color right now.
Yes.
I
remember.
I felt like everyone was looking at us.
Yes. And probably no one was.
Yeah, I don't think they were, no.
But they took us to the counter. We got our things, went to the counter. I thought, oh my, I guess we're going to wash some dishes.
Yeah, right?
So we get to the counter and I explained. I said, look, we have money. I don't know what's going on. I called the bank at the time, and were they closed?
They were closed. We had to call in the morning.
Were we able to show them our bank? I don't remember.
I don't remember what happened, but I do remember they honored
They
our
were
word.
gracious.
Right.
They were really gracious, and they didn't have to. They allowed us.
I think we may have wrote them a check.
Yes, we wrote them a check,
Yeah.
and the commitment was that they would deposit it the next day.
That's right. That's right. So we wrote them a check. Yeah, you're right.
And we let them know we're going to call the bank when the bank was open.
And so once the bank did open that next day, we called them, and this is our first experience with spending a large sum of money and it being declined.
Exactly. We bought
to
a bunch
protect
of
against
bicycles.
right.
We're traveling and using the card to get gas and all of that. And yeah, they blocked it out. They said, we thought this was all fraudulent.
Yes. And so that was our first experience with that. You know, we learned from that. I mean, everything was a learning experience.
And one of our very first adventure, like a higher level adventure, that was our first helicopter ride. We took
a helicopter ride. That's true.
Yeah.
Now, I'll stop here also just as a little, I guess, informational piece to things, you know, because our family was growing at the time. It wasn't like we were rich, you know, we weren't rich.
As you can see.
That lump sum of money we had was because we refinanced. But prior to that, again, we were traveling within our means.
That's right.
Right? We would travel to places we could afford. We would budget our money. I mean, you can't spend money you don't have.
Right.
But it's all in how you value things, right? If you value traveling and if you value vacation, then that's going to be something you put money towards.
That's right.
And one of the things couples don't do and families don't do, they don't value traveling.
It's
and
true.
traveling, again, I said in the beginning and I'll say it again, it is an additive to your marriage and to your relationship 100%. And to your children if you have children, because you cultivate culture within them. And cultivating culture allows them to think differently.
Yes.
To it builds their IQ.
Yes.
And it helps them out academically as well.
Absolutely. 1,000%. You know, when you feel limited in resources, it almost seems that travel is the last thing on your mind because you're thinking, this is going to be expensive. I don't have that kind of money.
Right.
But it does not have to be expensive. When we took our first trip to Orlando, we had $500. I'll never forget it because that was your paycheck at the time. And, well, that was what was left of your paycheck at the time.
Right.
And we used that. And we drove all the way to Florida. And we
now,
did.
keeping in mind also, you know, gas was, I think, like $1. It was under $2. It was probably like $1.60, something like that, a gallon.
Yeah.
You know, now, of course, it costs more. But that just means you adjust your budget.
Correct.
You know, that just means you don't eat out as much because you want to put that money towards vacation.
Right.
That might mean you don't buy as many new clothes or maybe, you know, you do whatever it is you have to if that's a value of yours.
Exactly. Right. And we did it smart. We booked at a place where they had free breakfast.
Right. And then you do things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, you know, our Universal tickets were purchased before we got there.
That's right.
So, yeah, I thank God for just giving us creative ways to make things happen. All right. So after that horrific experience,
I know, right?
First, we were staying in this creepy resort, and then we had this very awakening experience, grounding experience, I'll say.
Yes.
Then after that was I think after that we might have. I don't think we went to Arizona yet. Maybe that was our last trip for a little bit.
So I don't remember the order.
Yeah.
But at some point we moved away from the East Coast or went beyond the East Coast and began to travel out west.
Right. But yes, we didn't go out west yet until we were in Georgia. And that's because we felt we were closer to making it west. So when we were in New Jersey, New York, you know, Massachusetts, that was a lot easier. Blue Ridge, North Carolina. To us, those were areas we could go.
Yes.
But yeah, we never went to California or any of those other states when we were in New Jersey. And so we're approaching the time where we lost Gabby. And that year, I think it was 2007, that was the year we
Or
probably
2006.
2007.
Are you sure 2007?
Because we had Gabby. She was born in 2007, and we moved at the end of 2007 as well. So it all happened in kind of the same year. So I think it's these trips that got us pregnant.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Now, I will say there were some children that were conceived while on vacation.
I recall.
I remember one. I think Kylan was conceived while we were on vacation. I can't remember, though, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I remember. We
Yeah.
remember. Yeah, we remember. But yes.
Tell us about the experience. No.
Oh boy, fireworks is all I'll say.
Yeah, this isn't the sex episode, right? This
No,
is the
it's not.
vacation.
That's right,
episode, or one of the
yes.
vacation episodes.
Correct.
But yeah.
But I remember that year we must have taken 3 trips that year, and it started with us being gifted tickets for Six Flags. And after that happened, I remember I used to be afraid of those high roller coasters. But that year, I wasn't as afraid anymore.
I see.
And I know that had to do with the loss. Anyway, after that, we took a trip to Massachusetts. That's when we went to Cape Cod. Remember
Cape Cod,
that?
yes.
Yeah. And after Cape Cod, we went back to Poconos, but this time it was a different resort.
Yeah. I'll say this, just to run down a lot of the places that we've traveled, at least within the U.S., because I think that's all we'll at least talk about now.
Yes.
So yeah, we've probably traveled to at least through. So I'll say we traveled through at least every state.
Indeed.
With the exception of the very northern eastern states like Maine
and Vermont.
Right.
We've not been to those states.
Right.
Yeah.
But every other state we've traveled through. We've stayed in California.
Multiple places
in California. We've stayed in.
Been to both Six Flags there.
Yes, that's true.
Neat. Which one did you like best?
I don't remember. Whichever one has like X2.
Yep.
I can't remember that.
That's Magic Mountain.
That's Magic Mountain. So Magic Mountain.
Yep.
We visited all of the Six Flags in the U.S. There's
Texas.
There's one in Canada, but we haven't traveled to that one.
Yeah, there's another one. Isn't there one in Mexico? No, there's one other.
Texas. You're thinking Texas. There's
We've
2
been
in Texas.
to both in Texas.
Yeah, maybe that's the one.
No, there's one. Isn't it in Indiana?
I think that's Chicago area or something like that.
Yeah, and it's Great America.
I can't remember.
It is. It's Great America. I remember that. Yeah, but yes.
So we've traveled to all of the Six Flags, most of the states. We've been to Nevada, Lake Tahoe, beautiful place, one of my favorite places to stay. Sedona, Arizona, also one of my favorite places to stay.
Oh, that's so peaceful. Oh my gosh.
So those are top 2 places if you're looking to stay. Look at Lake Tahoe, look at Sedona, beautiful places. A lot of places in between.
We visited quite a number of the national parks.
So national parks,
yep,
right?
Yellowstone is one of my favorite. I will never forget our first visit to Yellowstone. We arrived at night and we pulled over in a parking lot in one of the pull-out areas. And we had a sunroof. Do we have a sunroof in our van? I don't remember. Yeah, we did. We had a sunroof in the van. And
by this time, we were driving a minivan, so we upgraded from a car to minivan.
We had to. Number of kids changed. But we looked up at the stars, and the sky was just surreal.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Glitter.
Yes, it looked like glitter. Someone just got a blanket that was full of glitter and then threw it over over the sky. And it was just... At some points, it was a little scary to look at it because it was just so phenomenal. And I'll never forget that experience coming from the city where there's lights everywhere.
Yes.
You don't get to see a sky like that.
And seeing and seeing shadows of large animals, right? Seeing shadows of
I remember that.
bison. I mean, it's just huge animals. You don't know what, I mean, you know what it is because from the pictures, but to see it in real life at night, it's scary.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh, my. But yes, Yellowstone Park was beautiful. That's where we got to see the geysers. Right?
Yes,
That
Old
was
Faithful.
Nice. Old Faithful,
Old
yeah.
Faithful.
Yeah. Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon's
Yeah.
beautiful place to visit. Also, I would recommend you. Every American needs to visit Grand Canyon at least once.
Yes, go there. Go there. And if you can pull it, take a helicopter tour over the canyon.
Yeah, majestic.
Indeed.
Majestic.
Indeed.
Yeah.
What other national park did we visit? I know
Glacier National Park.
Glacier, right?
That's
Montana,
northern
and
Montana.
Canada.
Yep.
So we've driven up to Banff and Jasper.
And that's so Banff is in Canada. So we've driven into Canada and actually drove across Canada, like a cross country Canadian trip.
British Columbia.
That's right.
Vancouver.
All the way to Vancouver, and then we've drove down from Vancouver down the western coast of the U.S. So through Washington, Oregon, California.
Oh my gosh, Oregon is so beautiful.
Oregon is beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
The cliffs and the beaches, beautiful.
Amazing, amazing. You must do it. In California, I think it's Route 1. Or what's the name of it?
Highway 1. I don't know. If you're in California, please drop us a comment. Remind us what it is. I think it's Route 1.
Yeah, wherever Bixby Bay Bridge is.
Yeah.
The views there are just delicious. It's just delicious. That's the best word.
Yes.
If you drive that route, you won't need to eat. You'll
and
be
nutritious,
so satisfied.
Delicious and nutritious.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Remember that?
Yes.
What's the name of that movie? What was that from again?
Most Def had said that to Queen Latifah.
You look delicious and nutritious.
In some movie, I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, never forget that.
But no, I'm naming these places because, sometimes people feel, couples, again, so going back to another point, couples sometimes feel that, well, we're limited where we can go.
Right.
And we have to go to the same places.
Right.
And no, you don't.
That's
you
right.
don't. The United States is a vast country.
It is.
Think of it this way. The distance between, say, Florida and New York, right? That East Coast is approximately the distance between, like, Portugal and maybe, Italy.
Right.
And so everything in between, right? Portugal, Spain, France.
Right.
And so we're talking about there's a lot of space and there's a lot of things in between these places.
So I think Portugal to Italy might be about 2,000 miles. If I remember correctly. I'd have to look. But you're right in that.
I mean, so then we increase that to, say, California, then.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. But there's a tremendous amount of places you can go.
Indeed.
And it's affordable.
It is affordable.
All you need is a full tank, a couple of full tanks of gas.
Yes, and some wisdom to make your dollar stretch.
That's right. Now look,
stop at some dollar stores, get some.
Stop at Walmart. When we've traveled on road trips, Walmart's been our pit
stops.
Especially the Walmarts with the gas station, or if there's a Costco or something like that,
BJ's,
we'll do that. But you make it work.
That's right.
You make it work.
You make it work. So we say all of this to say, we hope you guys plan some great trips.
Yes.
Summer's coming. It's for some of you, spring break. It's probably a little late to plan something last minute.
Yes.
But you can certainly plan something for the summer, and it does not have to be massive, and it doesn't have to kill your bank account.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And I'll mention there are two apps that we've used over the years. Excuse me. The first app is called Road Trippers. Now, although it's road trippers, it sounds like, oh, I have to be a road tripper. You don't have to. The app is very useful. It helps you find
points of interest.
Points of interest.
Cheap gas.
There's also an app for that as well. It's called Gas Buddy.
Yeah.
And we've used that.
Yeah, that's helped us. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Yeah, and with Gas Buddy, it highlight all of the gas stations that have the least expensive gas.
Right.
So we've had an incident. We've never ran out of gas.
No.
Hallelujah.
No,
I'm so glad about that.
Well, no,
But
wait.
I will never forget. We were driving through the Mojave Desert.
Yes.
In Arizona, between Arizona and California. Oh my gosh. And so it was at some point we were leaving Nevada. I think we were leaving Vegas, right? Like Vegas area. And we went to go stop at a gas station. And at this time, the gas was about $5 and change. And we said, well, nope, that's not going to work. Remember that?
I remember that.
That won't work. So we got back our little butts in the car and we kept on driving. Well, it's hot. It's the Mojave Desert.
Yes.
And the gas light comes on. And we don't see a gas station in sight, y'all.
Yep.
And neither one of us could remember how many miles from the last gas station till the next gas station. So we went on with a prayer, y'all.
Yes.
We just trot onward with a prayer. And I think, Terrell, you just kind of rolled into the gas station. It was still expensive. It was like $5.
It was still like $5. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a couple gallons.
And I will say this: there was a sign, so that was actually the last gas station until you drove through the desert. And the sign said right before we got off for that gas station, it said, "Fill up now," or something like that, because there's not a gas station for X amount of miles. And then it also said to get water, also because there's no stores or any gas stations until you get to whatever that next point was.
The Mojave Desert.
And so
that should have been noticed enough to us.
Exactly. But yeah.
It would be nice if that was the only instance, right? It's happened a couple more times.
I don't think so.
It did.
No?
It did.
Are you sure? I don't remember
100%,
it.
100%.
You're going to have to remind me.
So it wasn't.
Well, maybe not now. Maybe not now. In the next episode.
Yes.
There was one more app I wanted to mention. So roadtrippers.com or Road Trippers app. Website
Buddy.
too, Gas Buddy. And then there's also another one. I can't remember the name of it. You probably have it on your phone.
Are you talking about the new one that we use to set up our whole itinerary this coming May?
Right. And so this particular app, it actually pulls from your email, or you can just send it to the app directly. So it pulls all your reservations if you have car rentals, if you have air flights.
It's called Wonderlog.
Wonderlog.
WANDERLOG.
Yes.
Wonderlog.
So Wonderlog. And there's other apps similar to that, but it essentially pulls in all of your travel information, your hotel stays, your flights. If you have like tours and stuff booked, it pulls in all of that and it organizes it in an itinerary.
It's amazing.
And then it also calculates the budget based on the dollar amounts in those email or confirmations.
I don't like that part.
So I say that to say it also helps you stay on task to whatever your budget is. And so it also
preventing me from taking tours.
But yes, you can also, if you're traveling with other people, that app also allows you to split costs. So let's say you are splitting it 50-50, or if you're traveling with other family members, you download all the information into the app. It tells you how much the trip is based on that itinerary, and then you split the cost. You go ahead and send whomever the dollar amount or their portion. So it's really helpful.
Indeed.
Really helpful.
Indeed. Very much so. So I think maybe that's as much as we can do for this episode.
Yeah, for this episode, just wanted to sort of introduce this topic and share a little bit about our experience and how we traveled.
Yeah.
We're going to get into more details as we continue.
Yes. So we invite your questions. We'd love to hear what questions you have about this topic. And
yes.
Again, I love talking about this because I think that this is an area or a privilege or a pleasure in life that we don't take advantage of, especially young families or families in our community.
Yes.
Vacations are for you.
That's
too.
right. That's right.
It really is. And you can have fabulous, wonderful vacations. One of the things I love about taking a vacation too is I get the most empowering, refueling time before God.
Yes.
Yeah, you're out, whether it's driving and the whole car is quiet because the kids are sleeping. And Terrell and I, we just start having certain conversations, and then God just He speaks, and it's amazing. It's really refreshing, and so I look forward to that also. I love spending the time with my family. I also look forward to us spending some extra exclusive time with the Lord as
I
well.
agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. But all right, guys, that concludes our topic for today. I want to thank you for listening to the
Yes.
Gabby podcast. It's been fabulous. When we meet again for our next, I was going to say session. I'm just so counselor brain. But when we meet again
Yes.
for our next topic in this Gabby podcast, we're going to continue our discussion talking about travel.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
So,
thank you for listening, and it will be okay.
thank you, guys.
God bless you. Bye bye.
Hello, this is Terrell Pugh, and thank you so much for listening to the Gabby podcast. How would you like to do what you love, working with couples as a marriage coach or with individuals and families as a Christian counselor? Well, we can help you over at tntpugh.com. That's tntpew.com. Hey, we'd love to help you get started today, again, working as a marriage coach or a Christian counselor. Head over to tntpew.com. Thank you.